All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. There was a request to look at SoFi. I'm going to try to do it as quick as I can, but still as thoroughly as I can. A little busier this afternoon than I expected. Okay, so very quickly, SoFi earnings were good. Okay, I'm clearly giving an opinion, right? But they were up on revenue. They had a very good EBITDA, very good EBITDA. You can see that the earnings per share was actually up. It was a penny positive instead of the estimate flat. That's a good thing. Beating earnings per share tends to be the best thing that an earnings could say, right? Look at all the beats and raised, but we still get the ugliest candle. And I wouldn't say the ugliest, but we got the complete, I don't want to say the complete, like we didn't get that reflected in the price today. That's the educated way of saying that. And that right there is the biggest reason why I try to always stress earnings are crazy. I call it a gamble, in all honesty. The reaction to earnings is wild. I started the video by saying I thought it was great. I show you all that stuff that says beat, beat, beat. Today is a crazy doji. It actually ends under the 200, and we were only over that 200 for a very brief minute. I'll show you those details shortly, but to me, and I will also flash it, a lot of it had to do with NASDAQ, right? QQQ is the ETF of NASDAQ, and all this thing is doing is losing moving averages. As I look at the S&P 500, same basic downtrend, losing moving averages, right? And SoFi, though they're basically a bank, they like to put themselves in a technology world in this banking sector, right? So those are the thoughts I'll talk about shortly, but before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we gonna do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There's only one here. I think there's a couple more up there. Yeah, but there are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here and giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it all right? So let's take a look at SoFi and one more time. These were good earnings, all right? I flashed it in the beginning. I'll quickly flash it again. We can just look at this screenshot right here. Beat, 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 beat. They raise, they raise, they raise, they beat, beat, beat. This is all really good. All right, it is all really good, but the problem is my simple human opinion means absolutely nothing. All right, and I say that with love. Yours is the same way. What always matters, at least to me, right? What matters is the market reaction, and this isn't the best of market reactions. All right. At the minimum, I think the goal would have been to break, like, let's look at Tilray. I don't know if you watched the Tilray video, but hey, earnings took it from in the moving averages to above, right? SoFi really couldn't do that, all right? The next thing that just, it annoyed me so much, all right, this 200 moving average line, when I click in the day, you can see it on the purple line down there. It's $7.57. I'm even gonna draw a line right there, all right? When I look at the 15-minute chart, this is the 30th. This is the full day of the 30th. We were only over that line for 15 minutes in a basically 7-hour trading day. And then what's even worse is when I go into the minute chart, we were literally, and I'm going to zoom in just so you can see it, we were only over that line for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and let's call it 9.5, 10-ish minutes. After that, we tested it, failed, and never got close. I don't like how little we attack that 200 moving average. Now, again, don't get me wrong. This is a doji, and you know, I'm not trying to like going into the minute and the 15-minute, I don't think it means too much. It was more for an emphasis, right? But I don't like what today's candle was. The wick up though it looks like some people thought we should break the moving averages, it was actually a very, very small moment. There were people that actually thought we should lose the 8 and we should actually come as low as the 120 moving average. Like, what? Get out of here, right? I'm glad, yeah, we closed over the 8, but that's a really, really upsetting candle for, again, what was really, really good earnings. My best reasoning for this, again, I'm never here to blame manipulation. I'm never here to blame short attacks and this and that. My best explanation for this is NASDAQ, right? As I look at NASDAQ, we've lost the 8, we've lost the 20. We're in the battle of losing the 50 and seeing what's going to happen to the 100. As I look at the S&P 500, sorry, SPX. So look at the S&P 500, we've lost the 8, we've lost the 20. We're in the battle of figuring out what's happening with the 50. We're not as close to the 100, right? But these two are not looking well. And SoFi has really put its foot down that they are word got stuck. They are the technology bank. They have an app and they have this and that. They're not your regular brick and mortar. They are what the evolution of banking is going to become. That's always been their thing, right? And the sad thing is the Dow Jones is actually doing well. Let's look at the DJ30, the Dow Jones Industrial. This doesn't lose the 20. This actually bounces off of it and gets back over the 8 and the 20, right? So if they played the I'm just a regular bank angle a little bit more, maybe they would have had a better turnout and maybe it would have looked a little better like Tilray, which again, there's not a lot of technology in this sector, right? It's a Dow Jones sector, and hey, this thing was able to do just a little better than SoFi, which again, in my head, is a little bit more technology focused, all right? What's the requirement? What I want to do is two things. I want to see if I can move any of my lines. Man, I really can't move much of my lines. I like this one. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to delete this line because obviously I didn't even have that one there. That was just the 200 moving average. I think what I want to do is lower our line to here. Okay, I can see that I'm about half of that February candle. I'm also the top of that February candle. Looks like yeah, this is a good line. I think this is a good line. I would avoid SoFi. I'm going to say that one more time, and it's sad saying that even though the earnings are this good. I would actually avoid SoFi until we can break 790. If this thing can get over $7.90, I will actually be thinking $9+ for sure right there. And that's more than a 20% move right there, right? It's hard to like SoFi under that because we're still battling the moving averages, and I talked about that technology indice not looking that well, right? So I think this is in the Russell, if I'm not mistaken. If I am mistaken, let me know. The Russell's been doing well. So I think that's a little bit of an interesting little anomaly right there. I can only see the ETF, but trust me, the ETF generally will follow the indice. And I have to say generally because sometimes I've seen anomalies, but trust me, that's like a 98 out of 100 times generally, all right? But Russell's doing well. And again, I think SoFi is in the Russell. I might not be correct there. Let me know if I'm wrong. But I still believe that the technology angle, which again, I personally love tech. I think tech is what's going to be the future and onward. And I'm not, some sort of like genius thinking that. There's a bunch of people that think that. The tech angle makes sense. It's just now is not a good moment for tech, right? So look, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Even if you disagree, let's break 790 and then we'll think $9 from there. Cannot lose 702. More specifically, we can't lose that 690, which is the 50 moving average. Hey, thank you so much.